Hey guys, I'm Ezra Aderhold. Welcome to the Amside podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Amside podcast, the show that talks about all things disc golf. From weekend rounds with our mates to the Pro Tour over in the States, we've got you covered all from an amateur perspective. My name's Rob and I'm here with Dale. How you doing today, Dale?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. So our listeners might have noticed a little bit of a clue of what we've got coming up on today's show, but why don't you enlighten them and let everyone know what we're talking about?
So we're only a few days away from the Pro Tour, and I don't know about you, mate, but I am absolutely buzzing.
I'm super exciting. I mean, as we're recording this, the All-Star event's going on. Disc golf is back. It's official, and lots of exciting stuff to come up.
So we thought we would give our predictions for the year, didn't we, mate?
Yep. I think obviously we're going to be talking about the Pro Tour, so why don't we maybe put some predictions in now and see late down the line if we've got anything right.
I think I was split opinion on something, so I'm looking forward to getting into the debate about that. But as you said, listeners may have heard something a little bit different at the start of the show. So I'll keep them guessing, but there's something very special coming up.
It was definitely a big clue. Brilliant. Well, before we jump into that, I just want to have a quick word from the sponsor of the show. As always, the Amside is sponsored by dischub.co.uk. So if you're looking for, again, great prices, great customer service, and an amazing selection of discs, 21 brands on offer, your next disc that's going in your bag could come from dischub.co.uk. So definitely check them out. Make sure you use our code AMSIDE5 for 5% off. And you won't regret it.
Now, we've got a few things recently, and I'm very excited. They've got some good stamps available. I've been very pleasantly surprised from what I've picked up. So definitely click on the link in our description in the bio on Instagram and go and check them out.
Awesome. So Dale, let's jump in. So like you said, tour's about to start. Why don't we let's start with a couple of players. Who do we think are going to be dangerous this year? Maybe a newer player that's started to show himself at the end of last season. I mean, I've got to back my guy, Calvin Heimberg. You know me. I'm a Heimberg fan all the way. I just love watching him play. The king of no emotion, and I just love his game and what he's doing, and especially at the end of last season, he was pulling in some really impressive results. So I think, yeah, I've got no doubt that he's going to sort of pull that energy into the 2021 season and get moving with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. He did have a good end of last season. He was picking up. In terms of new players that I think are really going to push next year, it's not so much new players because I think we've got quite a seasoned disc golf community at the moment. We haven't seen, and it depends if we've got the Europeans coming to America this year. Obviously, we don't know right with COVID, but for me, I've got to back Thomas Gilbert. The guy has got an incredible arm. And looking at videos that he's put out with other players, I think he's looking good.
Well, I think the net is being spread a lot wider now with potential winners of each event. Obviously, the more talent we're getting into the sport, the outcome can really go anywhere. So absolutely, Thomas Gilbert's one that I'm also loving watching, and especially in his off-season coverage, playing with these pros and on his, a lot of the stuff he's doing is really impressive.
He's doing well, and I think another one. I don't know if you've been keeping up with sort of the A tiers or the B tiers before the Pro Tour. James is looking on fire.
Yeah, again, when he's featured in people's content online, the guy's got a great arm. There's nothing bad to say about him, but it just shows, I think, the amount of talent we've got in the Pro Tour now. I think some of these people that are resting quite comfortably at the top of the table are going to have to start getting a little bit worried because if they need to keep their game consistent, otherwise people are going to start seeping into that top 10, top 5 of the year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, going back to Adam James, he's already won an event this year, and he was looking unstoppable. So I definitely think he is someone to look out for this year. Do you feel MPO and FPO that we're going to have a Page and Port era this year, or do you think we're going to really start to see something different?
Well, I would be fairly confident to say that the Paul Macbeth era is potentially fading out, and that's in no way me saying that he's not as good as he was, and he's only getting better. You know, the guy he's always striving to be the best he can, and he's always going to be at the top of the game. But I wouldn't say it's so black and white on the MPO about who that guy at the top is, because, like I said, so much talent. On the FPO, obviously, Paige Pierce, she's this immortal phenomenon, really, on the FPO. She's doing things that a lot of other players on the card aren't doing as consistently. So they are doing it, but not to the same consistency. But you've got some amazing talent. Obviously, you've got Sarah Hokum, you've got Vanessa Van Dyken, you've got Hayley King, you've got absolute contenders, people that can take that title from her any day of the week if the performance is on. And obviously, you've got the Europeans as well. So COVID dependent, you've got Europeans coming over that, again, showing huge arms, huge amounts of talent. Yeah, I think the game is growing, and with that, the competition is growing, and I think we might start to see the end of some of these people on the top staying constantly on the top.
I think Europeans are going to make more difference in the FPO side of things than the MPO. I think if Europeans are able to travel this year and make the events, then I think Paige is going to have a competition.
Definitely.
The amount of work she's putting on the off season, and the amount that she wants it, I think without them, people will struggle to catch up with her. But the likes of, you know, Hayley King and stuff like that, you know, people are nipping at her heels, and I think it's really good to see. But going back to Paul Macbeth, he's got 28 events planned. How many do you reckon he's going to win?
I mean, he's going to say he's going to win all of them, right? Because that's the kind of man he is, and you can never count the guy out. He's the king of clutch. He pulls these wins in. 28. I mean, I'm confident that he's going to go into double figures. It's Paul Macbeth at the end of the day. He was pulling in the wins last year. I think he'll get double figures, but I don't think that's as given as it has been the last few years. I mean, we're talking about people coming up and potentially rising through the ranks. Someone that is already in those ranks, but just back this year is Nate Sexton. Obviously, had to take a good amount of time out of the tour last year because of COVID and didn't get to finish the tour. And he played 2 Disc Pro Tour events, I believe. I mean, he's back. He's ranked top 10 in the world. It was another level of competition that these guys didn't have to face. So we've got another guy back that's going to challenge for that top spot.
I'm really excited to see him this year. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him in Vegas, defend his title. And yeah, he never got to Waco last year. I think he had to pull out due to, you know, injury and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see him because the amount of work he's put in is really going to be prevalent. You know, there's a lot of people on tour that are working hard, but arguably, I don't think anyone has worked harder than Brodie Smith.
I mean, I'm not going to say that. I think Brodie Smith is on the forefront of media, so we can definitely see the effort he's putting in. But obviously, we have no idea what the other guys are doing. I mean, there's lots of people on media, but yeah, Brodie Smith definitely looks like he's putting the work on. I know you're a big fan of Brodie. We spoke on the first episode. He's the reason you got into the sport, and I also really enjoy his content. And again, big fan of the guy. I think you're a little bit more confident in his season than I am.
I think I can see the work he's putting in, you know, on and off the course. That guy is at some form of disc golf course pretty much every day. And when the weather wasn't good enough, you know, he was in the gym. He was bettering himself. The guy is putting in the effort. He wants it so bad. He wants to succeed because of that media. You know, he's got so many followers, and with that comes responsibility, comes hate. And he wants to prove to people that don't believe in him, not saying that you don't believe in him, but, you know, he wants to prove to those people that, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with. You know, he's redeveloped his bag. He is looking good, and he's got an absolute monster arm on him.
I mean, absolutely. Like I said, absolutely no hate from me. I like the guy. I think that he is going to come across a lot of challenges that he might not necessarily have seen so far. Being on Pro Tour, obviously, stamina is something that's, when you're touring, is something that you've got to have a lot of. I know he's been a professional athlete for the majority of his life, so I'm sure he has expectations around that. But yeah, I don't know if 2021 is going to be his year, but definitely there's going to be a year where he's going to be in that top spot because of the work he's putting in. And that's not me saying he's not going to have a bad year this year. I'm just saying this year is going to be it's going to be his tempering spot. He's going to get his legs in the league. I'm sure he's going to pull out some decent positions in tournaments, but I don't see him claiming that top spot win this season. But I know it's going to be coming in different seasons.
Mark my words, he'll win an event this year.
Okay, well, I hope you're right. Again, just to challenge those guys at the top and put some pressure on and get everyone to up their game.
If he wins one this year, that's going to show every disc golfer out there that you can do it, because he has been a pro disc golfer. Yes, he's had ultimate experience, but throwing an ultimate disc and throwing a disc golf disc is completely different. All you have to do is look at the first video he ever shot throwing a disc golf disc. He was like, well, this is so different. So he's had to learn a whole new game. And in a year, it's prevalent. That effort he's put in is going to show. So I am very excited to see what he has got to offer this year. 100%.
Awesome. And well, moving on to some other people that might face some challenges this year in the season. Obviously, since the tour ended last year, we've had a lot of brand changes and swaps. People's bags are changing, moving to different sponsors. So we've got Jordan Castro. He's moved over to MVP. Equally with James Conran has moved to MVP. So MVP is picking up some huge talent. So we're looking on a team perspective, some really exciting stuff. But obviously, if you're swapping discs, you're having to fully swap everything Obviously, and there's a lot of retraining. Yes, the skills there, the arms there, the knowledge of the game's there. But I think a lot of these people would have had to work hard in the off-season to get used to these bags. And we might see potentially the first few events of the year, they're still getting used to these bags. And they would originally go for a KC Rock. They're still trying to work out what that alternative is with their new sponsor. Also, you mentioned Thomas Gilbert. He's another one that's got a new bag this year. So yeah, exciting to see what these players are doing to make sure their game's staying consistent. Yeah,
it's an interesting topic, isn't it? Moving from that bag to another bag. I think James Conrad, he was on Showmez recently. The advice that Yuli, Sexton, and Jerm gave him was forget everything because you're right. James Conrad would go for that Avia for that 35 meter jump putt, and you knew that he was going in. Although saying that, I've seen a few videos of his new putting, and I don't think anything's changed. I think for him, it's business as usual. And looking at the All-Star event at the moment, he's looking pretty good. So I'm very excited to see what James Conrad could do this year.
Oh, absolutely. Raw talent is raw talent. There's nothing getting over that. But yeah, I think there's going to be some teething points of some of these sponsor brands. But again, these guys are professionals. It's business as usual, and they're going to go out and they're going to perform as well as we know they can.
I mean, I'm not a pro disc golfer, obviously. We all know that.
Obviously.
But I think I can relate somehow because, I'm at the moment in the process of putting everything in my bag to discraft. And when I've got a disc that isn't discraft, discraft don't always do a disc with exactly the same numbers. So you do have to look for those other discs. I mean, it doesn't really matter as much to me, but I can relate with where they're coming from.
Well, speaking of discraft and moving over to discraft, why don't we give up the big secret, which isn't the big secret if they listen to the first 5 seconds of the podcast. But we are delighted to have sat down with Ezra Aderhold earlier. He had some great things to say about that transition to discraft and what his season's looking like. So why don't we drop in on that now and hear what he has to say. So Ezra, welcome to the show. We're delighted to have you, and thank you so much for giving up your time. Just in case there's any of our listeners, if there's a percentage of a listener that doesn't know who you are, can you just give us a little bit of a bit of your background and what you do?
Oh yeah, I'm a professional disc golfer out on tour. Tour starts up in like a week, so I'm excited to get back out and compete. I came from South Dakota, and I've been playing for like 6 years now, competitively for like 2. So yeah, excited to go.
Yeah, I think your story is a really interesting one. So I think it'd be safe to say, especially over in the UK, that you really came into the disc golf media world within the last year, and I think things have been must be kind of crazy for you. You know, you're getting on coverage. I know there was a couple of weeks where the biggest topic in disc golf on social media and online was who you were going to sign with, because we knew you were going somewhere. How's that been? That must be a roller coaster.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really just ramped up. I mean, I kind of wanted to build my game to where I could get to a point where I felt like I could compete kind of at a high level before I started competing. So I just, I got my game somewhat solid before I even entered my first tournament. And then I played for like a year before really getting on tour. And then once I got on tour, then just playing with other players helped me improve too, and was able to kind of get closer to the top of the scoreboard. And then obviously that helps get on coverage, and then got on Jomez and Yuli and Jeremy kind of hyped me up a little bit, and people started making memes about me, which was insane. And then all the sponsorship stuff has been crazy too. So yeah, lately, like the last few months has just been insane. A lot going on.
Yeah, it's been great to see, really, because obviously you've really exploded onto that scene, and I can't wait to see how you get on this year. When this episode comes out, this is going to be mixed in with our Pro Tour predictions, and the reason we really wanted to put you on for this episode is because that episode was going to be so heavily focused on you, because we are massive fans of Team Ezra, and we really wanted to see where you're going to go this year. So to hear your expectations is really good.
Yeah, I think the reason it was going to be very focused around you as well is you've got a really interesting a year ahead of you. Obviously, you were sponsored by OTB. You're still obviously sponsored by OTB, but you had that mixed bag. You had the freedom to throw any disc you want. And obviously, this season's going to be a massive change, because restricted isn't the word, because obviously Discraft has got an amazing range of discs. But if you could talk us through maybe that process that you've gone through the last month or so, swapping over to a Discraft only bag. Was there any molds that you didn't want to let go to, but obviously had to make a change?
I mean, there was obviously discs that I liked with my old bag, since I was able to throw anything I want. But the transition to discraft has been actually really easy. I kind of already threw mostly discraft. If people go back and watch my in the bags before I was sponsored, it was like half discraft anyway. So I've been pretty familiar with a lot of the plastic and a lot of the molds. So I've always been able to kind of hold on to those and then just add some new ones in. And yeah, I'm really pretty confident with the discs that I have in my bag. So I'm excited to compete with them.
Nice one. I think one thing that I really wanted to touch on, obviously your Tour Series Nuke sold out within minutes. I've seen a few over the UK, so we have managed to get our hands on them, which is awesome. Why did you choose the Nuke? Why was that one with your name on it?
Yeah, the Nuke has been kind of my go-to distance driver for a long time. Honestly, most of the 2019 season, I think I started throwing Nukes kind of heavily at like Memorial last year. So that's been my go-to for a while, and I'm kind of known as like a distance guy on tour. So I felt like the Nuke was kind of the perfect fit. And none of the other players on Team Discraft had been using the Nuke as their 2L Series disc, so it kind of just all fell into place perfectly and made the most sense.
Nice. I think for you, how has it been going from no sponsor to straight to Elite Team Discraft?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously I had the sponsor with OTB last year, so just kind of getting used to that relationship and seeing how that the conversations went with that kind of eased it into the like big old sponsorship with Discraft. Obviously I don't have any experience with anything else, so it's kind of all I know, so I can't like compare getting sponsored the usual way, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's been a super cool experience. Obviously not a whole lot of players just jump right to elite team, so it definitely feels special to be able to do that.
Would you say that you've feel more pressure this year going straight to elite? Do you feel you've got that more, that you've got more pressure to perform?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like there's more eyes on me. Obviously people kind of know who I am now a little bit in the sport, so I definitely feel like I want to perform for the people who are rooting for me. So in that sense, I definitely want to play well. Obviously, Discraft wants me to play well, and I mean, last year obviously I wanted to play well just for myself, so I've always kind of felt that pressure to do well anyway. But there's definitely a kind of second level to that for this season, so which I kind of like. I like the pressure. I like the feeling of the nerves. It's not something I usually feel on a day-to-day basis. So when I'm out there playing and competing, that's when I get kind of that adrenaline rush that I kind of go for.
Awesome. And one thing, so obviously you've already proven yourself on that Jomas coverage. I mean, I think Germ was blown away by one or two shots, which we can we could talk about maybe later. But one thing that I'm finding really interesting about watching you on your YouTube channel, on your social media, and just sort of your active media in general is off the course. I think you're a lot of people looking towards you as almost a lifestyle. Sort of representative for the sport. I know traditionally the sport's been quite laid back. Maybe there hasn't been a lot of sort of working out and sort of a lot of energy or vibe around sort of eating well, living well, working out, keeping yourself healthy. I know also there was a lot of conversations around you touring in your car last year as well. So again, another aspect of your lifestyle, which was a little bit different and really interesting for sort of us to have an insight into. What's your opinions on how people are looking at you for your lifestyle as well as your game?
Yeah, I mean, only look at the good parts, I guess. I don't know. I think as disc golf gets more popular and we get more players in the sport, it's just going to get more and more competitive, which I think we're already seeing that. And I think, being in shape and being healthy is going to be kind of that extra edge that a lot of players are going to go for to get that advantage to maybe set themselves apart. It's, fitness and health has been something that's kind of been important to me for a while. So to be able to incorporate that into disc golf has been kind of seamless, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see more people taking fitness more seriously and diet more seriously. I think that's just going to help the sport in general and obviously help the individuals as well.
Yeah, I think you've been the first player to really break that mold. You've had disc golfers in the past, but you that first player that's come in, you're in shape, you've got massive arms and you can throw an absolute bomb. But in other points, it hasn't always been like that. So it's really good to see that. And I think you're going to help that new generation of disc golfer think, do you know what? Health and your body is as important as being able to throw as far as you can.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I mean, if I could have any part in helping get people in shape and healthy, that'd be incredible. So yeah, it'd be sick.
Well, it's really good for the first year. I think Disc Golf Strong is going to be at every event. So it's nice to see that the tour is taken out as important as well, because you've got Disc Golf Strong that can help people recover and get that better. And I think I generally do believe that you were part of that. So it's really good to see.
Thanks. Awesome.
And obviously the negative side of that as well is that everyone is looking at myself and Dale thinking, hang on, you play disc golf, why don't you look like that? So we've got some explanation.
What we don't see is Ezra's going to In-N-Out Burger after it.
Well, exactly. Okay. I'm at a McDonald's right now getting the Wi-Fi. Just the Wi-Fi though.
Oh. He's at a McDonald's. We're talking about Ezra's lifestyle and he's sat in a McDonald's car park. I don't think that can get any better.
They've got great Wi-Fi. What can I say?
Well, talking about I'm sure the reason that you're at McDonald's is because you toured last year living out of your modified Prius. Have you got any plans to change that? Does the discraft sponsorship potentially get a tour bus or a minivan or something a little bit more comfortable, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm super excited. So, yeah, they actually got like a 27-foot RV that I get to drive, which is it's insane. Yuli's going to be on there as well, which is awesome. He's the team captain, obviously, for discraft, and he's got just a ton of experience in the sport, and I think there's going to be a lot that I can learn from him. So I'm really excited for that. Just for that kind of relationship, I guess. But yeah, they just got it done, getting like wrapped with the discraft logos and everything yesterday. So just picked it up, and it looks sick. So I'll have to do a house tour, I guess, of it, or like a tour vehicle tour.
I can't wait for that. Cool. What's you talk about you being team captain. What's he like as a team captain?
I mean, the times I've met him, he's just like the funniest guy. I mean, I think he might be the funniest guy on tour. Obviously, he takes golf seriously, but he's a jokester, man. He'll make jokes about anything, and he's just super fun to be around. So, yeah, it should be a fun season.
It's so good because I think the Discraft Elite Team MPO is so strong, and I can't wait this year to see how that team performs, because I think we're going to see big things for Discraft this year.
Well, yeah, I think having that strong leadership out of Yuli helps that as well. So, yeah, definitely.
I think if you look into the, in the interviews and articles before, you've mentioned that you did a lot of swimming and you played golf as well. And whilst they're all individual sports and individual disciplines, there's normally the team aspect of that. So I guess now being in a team, you can bounce off each other, you can help each other improve. And I'm sure that's something that's really beneficial to being on tour.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, we're all trying to play well for ourselves and just perform as well as we can individually. But there's definitely the team aspect that we can practice with each other and help each other with things if somebody's struggling. I want my teammates to do well as well, and I hope they want the same for me. So yeah, it'll definitely be nice to have that community that I can kind of lean on as well.
It'd be great to know. So obviously, anyone that follows your YouTube channel, you know that you started every single video with, "Hey, it's Ezra from Team OTB." I'd love to know how many takes it took for your first video with discraft that you didn't say OTB and you said with Team Discraft or Discraft Elite.
I don't know. Sometimes it takes a lot of takes to get the shot I want. Yeah, I don't know. It was probably a lot.
So your YouTube channel is doing pretty well at the moment. You've got some great content out there. How do you find making time to create content? Is it a big part of it? Do you want to make time to get that content out there to interact with your fans?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to have that interaction. I think the fans enjoy it, and it's always cool to see such positive feedback. Like almost all the time, it's just positive feedback, so that's really cool. I mean, I don't do a whole lot outside of just like disc golf and content creation anyway, and like walking out, I guess. So I don't have a whole lot of other distractions, so I kind of have the whole day just to focus on disc golf and like YouTube basically. So it's not too difficult to find the time to make the content. Obviously, I think once the season actually starts, it may be a little bit more difficult just since I will probably be putting more time into practicing and playing on the course before the tournament. And then obviously during the weekend when we have a tournament, I won't be able to make content. But definitely still try to keep the YouTube channel going throughout the whole season.
That's not a problem. I'm happy to come over and film for you. That's no issues.
Perfect. There we go.
Awesome. Rob, I'm now leaving the podcast because I've got a new job as Ezra's
There we go.
manager.
Well, the thing
Sweet.
that I'm always in awe of when I watch your videos is it's understanding how discs are actually meant to fly. So I know I'll be playing out in the course with Dale, and he'll throw a nuke, and it'll go immediately to the left after 10 meters. And then and obviously for you it's a roller disc. So yeah, so clearly we're doing something wrong over here in the UK. Maybe it's something in the water.
I don't know. Hey man, it's for every distance, every shape. So.
But watching you throw a nuke on a hyzer and making it flip I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. But it won't stop me buying your disc because it's got your name on it. So
there we go. Hey man, everybody needs an oval stable distance driver, right? That left going shot is super useful.
Your overstable disc driver is my super overstable disc driver.
That's nice too, though.
So Ezra, we've in a couple of previous episodes we've talked about a lot of topics around sort of being amateurs within the sport, and one of the most recent topics we spoke about losing discs. Obviously it's part of the sport, and obviously a great benefit of being sponsored as there's not as much pressure if you lose a disc. But is there a time you've been kept up at night thinking about a shot that you made a mistake on, or a disc that you love flying off into the water never to be seen again?
Oh boy. The one that comes to mind is actually at D-Glow. Like it was right before the tournament. I was just practicing the tournament, and I don't know if you remember hole 3, just that downhill, like right carving shot. It's top of the world bomb shot. And the shot is just complete jail. If you throw it over there, it's like almost guaranteed lost. And I threw my favorite Z nuke into that abyss, and it is gone forever. And that nuke was beaten just to perfection. I could use that thing in the woods and flip it up to flat and have just go straight for super long distance, and lost it. So that's probably the one I'd have to say. But I've lost a lot of discs in my day.
Do you ink your discs? So do you sign your with name and number, or is that something you've gone past slightly?
Yeah, last year I had my name and my number on all the discs. Then this year I've just got my name on them. Most of the time, if I lose a disc, it's just at a tour event anyway, and then the people, somebody will find up is probably playing too, so they can just get it to me that way. So
I think it's wise not to put your number on it.
Yeah. I think we have to. I think we're supposed to, like, by the PDGA rule, I think we're supposed to put some kind of unique marking on it. So yeah.
That's interesting to know. I didn't know that. So it's like ball golf where you have to like mark your disc.
Exactly. Yeah. Just so that it's like proof that the disc I pick up and throw is actually mine. I don't like swap discs or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So interested to know. So obviously, I'm sure you had a huge collection of non-discraft discs. Are they just sitting there? Are they retired forever? Are they sentimental, or have you given them away? Have you completely wiped the board and gone full in with discraft?
Yeah, I didn't have like a ton of discs just because I didn't have like a whole lot of space in my Prius. But I do have a couple of boxes of some of my old stuff, and I do plan on giving some of it away, and then maybe sell some of it as well, and maybe hold on to some of it as well. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, just kind of in boxes right now.
I think lastly, Ezra, we don't want to take up too much of your time because obviously super busy, and McDonald's probably are going to start getting annoyed that you're using their Wi-Fi. What's your expectations for this year? You know, what do you see yourself? You know, what do you want to achieve?
My main goal is to win a Pro Tour, National Tour, or major events. I want to get at least one win. That'd be great. I also want to finish top 8 in tour points. So if I can do that, it should be a good season. Obviously, we'll see how it starts, and if I get a win right away, I'm going to probably want another win down the line as well. But yeah, just gotta try to take it one tournament at a time and try to play my own game. And I know that if I play as well as I think I should, that I think the wins will just kind of find themselves.
Nice. And if you weren't going to say yourself, who do you back this year to have a good year? And also, who do you think is going to surprise us?
Okay, let's see. I think he's gonna have a good year. I think Calvin's gonna have a really good year. I think he could. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of guys that could do really well. Obviously, you can't count Paul or Ricky, or Eagle or Kevin or Chris. Nicholson is playing insane too. So can't really count anybody out. I think Calvin's gonna have a really good season. I think Adam Ham's gonna have a really good season too. He's already started off really solid. He's got all the shots you need, and I think if he can keep it going, he'll have a fantastic season as well.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to have you back on the show in the future, and I'm sure next time we do, you'll have a major win or a Pro Tour win under your belt, and we can talk about how that felt. But until that point, thank you so much for coming on again. Good luck for the year, and yeah, we wish you the best.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me on.
And obviously, for people that might not know you on social media, go ahead and shout out all your social medias and your YouTube so people can go and find you on there.
Just my name. So YouTube, if you just type in Ezra Aderhold, should pop up, and then Instagram is Ezra_Aderhold.
Awesome. Well, Ezra, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. One of the nicest guys in disc golf, and really good luck for the season.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Wow, Ezra, what an absolute hero. It was amazing that he could sit down. I know when we started this podcast, we spoke about potentially getting some of these guys on, but it's great that it's happening so early.
Oh, it's brilliant. He was such a nice guy to talk to as well. He was a font of all knowledge, and I'm a big fan. So that's definitely made my week.
Maybe there's some slight fanboying in there, but it can't be helped.
I challenge anyone to speak with any pro disc golfer that they really enjoy watching and not fanboy.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that he's just the start. Obviously, if you follow us on social media, you might have seen our guess the guest story where you could guess who the blurred out image was, and we've got a few more coming up. So please interact with that. That's the Amside podcast over on Instagram. So make sure you go follow us because we do leak a bit of content and we have some fun with you guys over there. Just another shout out for the sponsor of the show. So again, the Amside is sponsored by dischub.co.uk. So make sure you click those links and use our code AMSIDE5 for 5% off. You will not be disappointed. But Dale, I think it was another great episode.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And I can't wait till next week when we've finally got a Pro Tour out the way and we can talk about that.
Exactly. Las Vegas Challenge next week. Yes, we've got the All-Star event, but next week is the week it kicks off.
It's Vegas, baby.
Amazing. But until then, if we don't see you on the course, we will see you on the Amside.